My name is Joe Lukowski. I'm a representative from Jewelcor, and I want to address some of the comments that were made in the public session here. First gentleman who was speaking talked about the property taxes. I can assure you that Jewelcor and the Postmans have paid all of their city, county, and state taxes, or school district taxes that are due and owing. That the Postmans and Jewelcor have paid whatever tax responsibilities, property tax responsibilities they have had with regards to the properties on the Jewelcor. They're all current and they've all been paid. The KOZ benefits, as was explained by Mrs. McCormick, is for development of the property, provided the structures are built and completed in satisfaction of the state, and then whoever has those can apply for KOZ benefits. Second gentleman talked about the quickness of the project. One of our prospective purchasers, tenants, has been involved in this for the last 8 or 9 years. The city has struggled trying to get the Cole Street project completed. It had funding for the entire project at one time that was removed by Governor Rendell because of the situation with bridges and the need for those things to be corrected. So the tenants or purchasers that are interested in the property have been around for a while. Our concern and our reason for asking for the construction easement is that at this point in time, since they've been around a long time, they're kind of getting antsy. The city has cooperated with us, as well as council and the mayor, Mr. Henry, Mr. Vinsko, with regard to Mrs. McCormick, in attempting to help us try to get this project restarted. Problem has been the money was lacking. The new transportation bill has put this on a track that it looks like probably in 3 or 4 years the money will be there to complete the rest of it, but our prospective purchasers may not, and they've kind of indicated that to us at this time. So what we want to do is build the next portion of the road, which is from Wilkes Barre Boulevard to an area just before the tracks, that will allow access to the property, give the two companies that are interested in the property, the opportunity to secure their permitting and approvals. All of the construction that is being done is subject to PennDOT review and approval. The traffic light will have to be altered. That's a PennDOT requirement. Left-hand turning lane will have to be installed in the northbound lane of Wilkes Barre Boulevard. That requires PennDOT approval. Opening up of the street itself so that you can go across Wilkes Barre Boulevard into the extended Cole Street, which requires PennDOT approval. The construction of the road will include the installation of all of the utilities, and those are subject to approval by the various utilities and the city to make sure that they meet all the requirements of all those parties. Secondly, the gentleman mentioned about stormwater. The stormwater system was installed in the first phase of Cole Street, so those exist. We will be installing the sewer line and other utilities that are necessary for the development of the property. With regard to the issue on the easement, okay, the situation, I think, as Mr. Henry has explained, the city is not giving us ownership, just giving us a right to conduct and build the road. The road will naturally enhance the value of the property. And therefore, when the city goes to continue the project, to finish it up with PennDOT, we've increased the value of the property. There's been mention of what's going to go there and what you might need. I'm looking at it from the standpoint that we're looking at creating between 50 and 60 jobs between the two potential purchasers. And in addition, okay, we have all of the construction jobs and the construction supplies that will be purchased locally and will help us, help the city out and help the local business establishment.
Sir, we kind of, I'm glad you finished up there. We kind of ran out a little bit of time, but I'm going to allow it. Any questions? questions the council members may have on
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Somebody mentioned that Jewelcor was in bankruptcy. Is it in bankruptcy?
Jewelcor came out of bankruptcy 1992, 1994.
And
Jewelcor is not the current owner of the property, the whole system owner.
And the other question is, the catch basin on the other side of the boulevard is supposed to go straight through to the pumping station on Union Street. Who's gonna be responsible for putting that in? I don't know if PennDOT's regulation, if it goes under the road or alongside the
Are you
road.
talking about the stormwater?
Well, the catch basin.
The catch
the storm
basin.
one, yeah. I don't
I
think
believe
that was
that-
never put in on that side of the street yet.
Again, that would be a PennDOT issue. They have not indicated that we have any responsibility to do that at this point in time. That may be an issue when we meet with them to come up with, but the engineer who have put the project together have not indicated anything as far as the catch basin is concerned that I'm aware of. But I will certainly ask.
Shouldn't that have been done before we start doing the road?
If there are things that should go under the roadway, then those things have to get done. Okay, at this point in time, the only thing that we're aware of, we know the stormwater drainage system is in. Okay, the sewer line is not. We have to run the sewer line, and we have to provide the gas, electric, water, whatever utilities are gonna be put in. The catch basin that you're talking about and the drainage from the catch basin, I don't know anything about, have never heard anything about. Okay, I do know that when the project was done up top, the state, tried to take care of everything, and the city made sure that the next phase could continue on, and then eventually to Pennsylvania Avenue and Union Street.
Yeah, see, I believe that storm system was part of the next phase too. So I don't believe that was done. So
I will talk to the city engineer about that and find out what the situation is. Okay?
My-
Anything that's gonna be under the roadway, we're trying to get accomplished and done, so that when PennDOT releases the money for the city to finish the project, that our roadway will just be taken over as is and continued on. So, we are even installing a granite curb on each side to make sure that we match what's on Cole Street now. The lanes will line up exactly as they are on Cole Street, okay? Because the city, in planning this project out, they already are well beyond, they have a finished plan basically as to how they want it to look. And we're trying to comply with that and comply with whatever PennDOT tells us to do.
Okay, and your interview with the papers, you stated that you're gonna seek reimbursement from PennDOT for building the road.
We are attempting to seek reimbursement. We are not guaranteed any reimbursement from anybody. The city, through the mayor, Mr. Henry, have tried various different ways, have talked to the state, to PennDOT, to see what could be done, because in all honesty, this is a roadway that is a city roadway, will eventually be a city road. We want to move ahead at this point in time because we have potential developers that we don't want to see leave the city. So Mr. Holzman is willing to put the money up to complete the roadway to allow for access to the property. And, if we get reimbursed, we will get reimbursed. Hopefully that will happen. And if we don't, Mr. Holzman is taking a chance.
You have to project the cost of the easement?
Do not have projected costs at this point in time.
If I could ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Are you finished?
Go ahead.
So what you're saying is, your construction that you're gonna do conform with future development of that road along with...
It dovetails exactly what the city plan was. Because originally, the city had the entire plan laid out and had it basically funded by the state and federal government. And then those funds were withdrawn. So there are things that were not completed in terms of plans and specifications. But the concept of where the road would go, what would have to be done, are there, and we're following those.
So you're gonna follow all the rules that are set up for the future construction of a master?
Yes, yes.
And secondly, if you get approval from council, what's your projected start date for this project?
Well, the beginning part of this requires survey, title search work. Those things have to be done first. Some of that has already been started. Okay, the remaining portions will require the submission by the purchaser of getting approval from council with regard to zoning, planning. We have to go to the Department of Environmental Resources and Luzerne County Conservation District to get the NPDS put together, which is the stormwater runoff, everything that's going to be involved in there, because, they've got to basically approve the entire parcel for development.
So can you give us a guesstimate what you think the
I would
completion
say
will be?
the PennDOT portion, they tell me, will be about 6 months. That's because we have traffic light, left-hand turn lane, and the opening there. And they're figuring about 4 to 5 months for the other stuff, including coming to, your zoning officers and then going through whatever hearings the city requires to get approval for the permits to put up the structures and put the businesses in.
Are we talking several years from now, when this is going to be completed?
No, at this point in time, at least one tenant projects being completed by next springtime,
So a year from now?
basically a year or so from now.
Okay. I didn't even think about that.
Do you have a letter of approval from the PennDOT officials giving you the go-ahead and be okay to do this?
We do not have it. First, we need to have a construction easement so that we have the right to go on the property. The next step from there will be the signing of our final agreement with one of the parties. Then their engineer, in conjunction with the city engineer, will then start the process of going through PennDOT to get approvals.
Have we approached the community service man for PennDOT to see what he thinks about this project?
Yeah,
I know Butch has spoken to PennDOT, isn't it? Yeah, this is something that's been going on, I'm sure Butch has spoken to PennDOT.
They've
not just
spoken to-
Butch,
they've
over and
spoken-
over again.
I know that they've spoken to the PennDOT engineer, Mr. Roberts, with regard to this project.
And we got their approval?
We haven't gotten it for you.
Yeah, we don't, they can't give you approval till we submit the documents. We can't submit the documents until we get the construction easement approved. Then we go to to our person who's purchasing and developing the property, and then their engineer, along with the city engineers, will proceed to start the process with PennDOT.
So this is the initial step, it
Right.
might not go through. If they don't approve.
I highly doubt that it will not go through, okay? Because it is part of an overall project that's already been approved and is part of the transportation bill. It's just that the dollar and cents timing, okay, is too far down the line for.
Well, I understand that part. But we gotta protect our rights too.
I understand it. I mean, believe me, if the mayor could write a check to do it and start the project, I think he would start the project because he wants to see it finished. And the mayor and his staff have fought vigorously to try to help us move along on this project.
Anything else?
Thank you.